Hello, my name is Marco Trillo. I'm a finance major at FSU, and I'm interested in eventually maybe being a financial advisor or a business developer. Um, I'm interested in possibly starting my own company as well eventually. Um, I, over the summer, worked at Rocket Trailers Manufacturers. They produce anodized aluminum trailers, about 50 trailers a week. They have about, I'd say, 40 employees, about 7 people in the office. It was a company that has existed for the past 50 or 60 years, although new owners took hold 3 years ago, um, and are trying to cut the fat down. It's a small business. They're trying to develop it, grow it, purchase the properties around, and although it's been around for 50, 60 years, it's somewhat in its infancy stages of being an efficient business because the owner previously did not take very good care of the company and was an old person who just wanted to sell it and make his money and retire. My duties at the internship were mostly to keep track of inventory, to properly record purchase orders, invoices, receive what the companies received, make sure there's no discrepancies between the pricing, the quantity that they received, on which dates, to make sure the credit card payments were paid on time, recorded properly. Those were the general duties, keeping track of which trailers were produced what days. I would keep track in the morning and in the afternoon, write down there's about 12 workers, 10 to 12 workers, that I would write down which trailers they were working on at what time, just so that they could keep on schedule. Right now, they're backlogged by 2 or 3 months. Everybody wants to buy a trailer in South Florida, so important to keep track of that and make sure they're producing trailers and meeting their goals on time for their customers. They sell mainly to dealerships, not directly to customers. About 80 or 90% of the sales go to dealerships across Florida and even interstate. My 3 learning objectives while I was in the internship was to get a better financial understanding of the company and its inner workings. Also, another thing was to understand the accounting process better. So I was on QuickBooks the entire time there, and although QuickBooks does many of the accounting processes for you, you still have to keep track of the accounts and make sure you're inputting the information correctly for QuickBooks to take the information and process it accordingly. And also how the company adapts and people communicate just day to day, adjusting to different variables that the company needs to adjust to in order to be successful. One highlight I would say is really understanding how the whole company is able to work. So I was able to see different branches, the salespeople, the accounting people, the ones in charge of sales orders. Also, I got to interact with some of the actual workers of the trailers and the people in the warehouse. I got to work with everybody in the company and see how it all comes together to create an efficient business. One challenge was a language barrier. I am okay in my Spanish, not the best. I can understand a lot, but I struggle to speak, so I had to overcome a bit of a language barrier and some general communication. I was constantly asking questions and figuring out how to do things, but I got to practice my articulation of questions better in my time there. Asking questions was the biggest thing to overcoming the challenges, and also I got to practice some Spanish. I adapted. I had to predict and fill in some of the gaps in the language, which I got better at over the summer, and was able to better. If I missed a word in Spanish, if I couldn't remember it, I could fill in the blank with something in English or adapt to the language barrier in a way that we could communicate. A valuable lesson I learned was I got to sit down with the owner of the company, and I got to go over all the financial statements, and I learned that if you're just in, I took the initiative to ask him to do that, and I learned that if you could just properly ask, and if you're genuinely interested or curious on a subject, people will open up and talk to you about it. Same thing with the salespeople. I'd ask them questions about advertising and what that process was like, and they'd always open up and very friendly and would explain to me how it works. Um, I also talked to him about business development. Um, that's what he's been doing for a very long time now, and I may be interested in getting involved in something like that. How to expand the production line, how to increase profit margins, connections within the company, geographical locations. That's something I may be interested in. And I would recommend the internship. If I was there for longer, um, I'm sure I could have. There would be more interesting tasks to get done because there was some repetitive work, like the invoice recording and inventory. But I would. It was very good to see how a business in its infancy is growing and adapting to challenges over time. I was not offered a full time position. I am also a sophomore in college, and I would not be taking a full time position there. But I was able to work 15, 16 hours a week, which was plenty of time for me for about 2 months. Um, so overall, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it, and I do recommend it. Thank you.